Welcome to Detox Cafe. We are live. We're so excited that you will be here joining in with us tonight. The discussion is going to be fire. We hope that you guys absolutely love it. Tonight is about Fill My Cup. Here tonight with Dr. James Doggette Jr. Tune in right after this beautiful special selection.
Like the woman at the well, I was seeking for things that could not satisfy. And then I heard my Savior speaking, draw from my well that never shall run dry. Fill my cup, Lord, I lift it up, Lord. Come and quench this thirsting of my soul. Bread of heaven, fill me till I want no more. Fill my cup, fill me up, and make me whole. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. 'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him at his words, just to rest upon his promise, us to know, thus says the Lord. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I prove him more and more. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust him more. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I prove him more and more. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust him more. When peace like a river attended my way, when sorrows like sea billows
Welcome to Detox Cafe. We're hyped today. We're excited. We're about to get into it.
Yes.
Because we have a very special guest that hasn't been at End Time since 2019.
Wow.
Yes.
And that hasn't been with Detox since that long. So we're happy right now because we get our special guest back.
Yes.
And we have Dr. James Doggette Jr. And we like to wish him a warm congratulations with graduating this weekend.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Thank you. Appreciate
So
it.
exciting. And we have our co-host, Myrna.
Hi everyone. Again, I am so happy to be here. So happy to be here with you, Hadasha, and we are so excited to have you back.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a minute.
It's been long awaited.
Yes.
It's been a minute. Now, this series has been I Kissed My Last Frog.
Right.
Right? And I can say that last night I shared a bit on how it came about. You know, but God took me through a journey on grace and empathy. You know, so it comes on to what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and at the same time preparing yourself for what's to come next. And what we're very excited about is tonight is called Fill My Cup.
That's good.
Yes. And what we would like to have this conversation tonight.
Yes.
Get into it. Later on, we're going to talk about our attachment styles.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It's a very vulnerable moment.
So embarrassing.
And we're just going to jump right into it. You know, one thing that a lot of couples, men, women, the woman that we turn to look at is a Proverbs 31 woman. And for me, we know that, okay, yes, become her, try to cultivate your mindset after her. But the other side of it is, what does a man have to do, or what mindset does a man have to be in to capture and maintain a Proverbs 31 woman?
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, but before we get into that, to you, what is a Proverbs 31 woman?
So before I even answer that question, y'all, I am so excited to be here at Detox Your Life. Listen, I still have my Detox Your Life t-shirt.
Oh, I love
and people
it.
ask me all the time about it, and I point them in the direction of this powerful ministry.
Oh, I
so
love it.
the years, you know, between now and when I was last here,
Yes.
all of what you've been doing, I celebrate it. I
Oh,
just want you to know
thank
we
you.
appreciate you pushing forward.
Yes,
And this is just, you know, the manifestation of a vision God has given you. So I just want to pour into you, affirm
Thank
you,
you.
congratulate you on just chasing the dream that God has given. And this is all about ministry. So the fact that I'm here is huge. So I'm excited to be here. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
It
so
is
excited to be
huge.
here.
Yes.
And yes, in terms of a Proverbs 31 woman, there are so many things that come to mind. Of course, the Bible outlines it. I encourage each of us to take some time to read that chapter and to peruse the descriptions that are found therein. But there are a couple of things that come to mind. The Proverbs 31 woman is, according to the Word of God, a woman of noble character. She has a great reputation.
Yes.
And that's not built just based off of word of mouth. That's built not just on declaration or proclamation, but demonstration. There's a woman who doesn't just talk the talk. There's a woman who lives the life. There's a woman who has virtues that are commendable. The Proverbs 31 woman is presented to us as kind of like the model wife, the model
Yes.
mother, the model woman within the marketplace who contributes and has something to give. So there are a lot of descriptions that are found there. I actually wrote some down here just so that I didn't forget any. But not only is she of noble character, a Proverbs 31 woman is trustworthy.
Mercy.
Yes.
She's someone who can be trusted. She's someone who, with the vulnerability of others that has been expressed within her space, she has cared tactfully and empathetically and compassionately with those around her. A Proverbs 31 woman is not someone who's narcissistic. It's not someone who is all about herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But she's high in empathy. That means that she can feel what other people are feeling. She has a discernment about her that make other people feel okay being vulnerable in her presence. She doesn't take advantage of people in vulnerable spaces. And this, of course, is, and we can just like take an exit all along this highway of description, right? But if we want to take an exit here, that is, of course, in direct opposition to the woman who might take advantage of vulnerabilities that are given and shared within a space that should be psychologically safe.
Right.
So this is a woman who doesn't take what other people share with her in their private time and then expose it and call, hey girl, what happened? And then start talking about those things. No, this is a woman who is trustworthy because she's proven herself to be trustworthy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's also not just trustworthy, not just of noble character, she's hardworking and diligent.
Mercy.
Yeah, that chapter talks about.
Say that again.
Yes.
She's not someone who is sitting around waiting to be waited upon, served, but she is interested in helping meet the needs of other people.
Yes.
She's interested in seeing the needs where they exist, but she can't just watch the need without helping to meet the need and do whatever it takes to get there. And she's diligent. She's hardworking. This is a woman. This is now.
Say it. Please do.
This is a woman who has contributions to be made.
Thank you. Yes. Say that again.
And enjoys making those.
And enjoys making them. Because guess what? She was designed to make them. God created her with a specific indispensability to her days, which suggests that there are things that she was created to produce, and she does it willingly, and she's diligent in her work. She's not lazy. She's not someone who, again, waits for others to serve before she's willing to serve. She really follows the example of Jesus in that she's a servant leader. She's not just diligent. She's not just trustworthy. But she is also supportive of other people. She's not jealous. She's not envious.
Wow.
She doesn't mind celebrating what is happening in someone else's life.
Yes.
She's okay. She doesn't have to make other people feel small so she can feel big. Yeah. So she doesn't talk down to other people. Listen, we could talk all day about Proverbs 31 women. She's the model, again, model mother, model wife, model woman in society.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that breakdown because I even love the verse where she wakes up in the morning and prepares things for her servants.
Yes.
That's about to help her out.
Right.
Yes.
But she makes their lives just as comfortable being in her presence. You know, and I love that. Now, let's say, and Myrna can agree because we had this conversation.
I was going to ask him a question too. Go ahead.
What we got?
Yo, because what I love is a man creating the emotional space for this type of woman. Because a man can meet this woman, enjoy this woman, but does not have the tools nor is equipped
to maintain that.
To maintain or even celebrate this woman within his life. For sure. So how does he become the man that her husband was, that trusted her for her to blossom in her life and others and in his?
That's good. That's good. So I think the question, the way you posed it, kind of already intimates and suggests that a Proverbs 31 woman will not be accepted by everybody. Like, not everyone's ready for a Proverbs 31 woman. Let's just throw it out there. Not. I'm talking about men now who run into this model woman who has all of these virtues, trustworthy, diligent, all of it, other-centered, selfless, not narcissistic, but empathetic. Not every man is ready for that. And when it comes to preparing yourself to be in a relationship with someone who could be considered a Proverbs 31 woman, you first need to understand that a healthy relationship has two elements. The first one of which is a healthy relationship always has to have two healthy people.
Yes.
So in order for you to appreciate as a man the virtues that are resident in a Proverbs 31 woman, you need to develop those virtues in your own life. So you need to be trustworthy. You should strive to be diligent. You should strive to be other-centered, not narcissistic, controlling, but benevolent and loving and empathetic. Because when you have those and possess those and desire to develop those virtues, you then have an appreciation for those virtues in someone else. I know a lot of guys who, because of insecurities, have to make women feel small again so that they can feel big.
Yes.
And a Proverbs 31 woman is not a woman who is threatened by, the greatness and the indispensability of a man.
Mercy.
Because she is secure in who she is. But how many men are threatened by the greatness, bigness, and indispensability of a woman? And it's a question that has to be posed, because oftentimes the toxicity that exists within those relationships, it is revealed as a response to insecurity within that relationship.
Mercy.
So there has to be some development that is at work in the man in order to appreciate a Proverbs 31 woman, because those virtues are powerful, but you've got to have those virtues to appreciate them. And also you got to support a Proverbs 31 woman.
Right.
You can't just expect a Proverbs 31 woman to support you.
Right.
Because relationships exist so that it's a two-way street.
Right.
A Proverbs 31 woman has business that she has to attend to.
Yes.
She's not just here. Again, the whole idea of a helpmeet, we get that. Women were created to be the helpmeet, but that doesn't then mean that the man is not there to help, support, encourage, or celebrate what the woman is doing, what the woman has been called to do.
Mercy.
So, yes.
So what would you say about the women that are, what is it, feminist? Or what is it? They believe, no, not that. I apologize. I meant to say those that like to stay at home.
Right.
And their idea of it is, I'm here to be pampered and taken care of. Me and Hadasha have that conversation all the time. The trophy wife stigma, right?
Yes.
So how do you feel about that of a woman that then feels like they identify themselves as a Proverb 31 because, they were designed for that purpose in their mind. So I feel like I say this because a lot of times, especially through social media, right?
Right.
A lot of what our children have been looking at is the example of such, and this is the attraction.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want this 6'5" man that's making $500,000 a year or plus, right?
Come on,
that's
bring in the
gonna
money.
basically and
Bring it
sit,
in.
and I'm gonna be home, and I'm just gonna get my nails done when I want to, get my massage done when I want to. He's gonna provide everything.
Yes.
But then we get shocked when things recently appeared in the news that now this husband has everything under his mother, and they're like, oh my goodness,
oh yes,
how dare he do such things. So I wanted to have what is your thought process on that? Because it's sometimes it's hard for some women to even think that it's okay for them to be part of the household growth and the household journey of getting to whatever goal that she and her husband respectively would have among each other. It could be different for everybody else.
Right.
But her contribution to her is like, me contribute? I need him to be ready to take care of everything. And you know what I mean? Like, my money is my money, his money is my money.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, I think that's a great question. And this is a great opportunity for me to talk to my brothers, because if that's the case, you need to steer clear.
Right.
Because the truth of the matter is, if there is especially at that beginning stage, and we can't ignore the signs. And this is talking about, I kissed my last frog. Right. Let's stop kissing frogs now. Listen, if that is the mentality, first of all, let me suggest this. The Proverbs 31 woman is not a monolith. What you see in the list of descriptions are principles. It's not a specific portrait of how every woman should operate. Considering that a Proverbs 31 woman looks different in different situations, but what is the same? In different for a woman who is unwilling to make that can't consider yourself a Proverbs 31 woman. If all you do is say you did. Because the Proverbs 31 woman, she makes value conscious. So, it's unfortunate that might be the case. And you'll find that story typically ends in the same fashion.
Right.
Yeah. Over time, I've been pampered and I get everything I want initially, but then it doesn't become enough. Yeah. And there's a void that can only be filled when you operate within the confines of the description. And that does include you making a contribution as opposed to just taking. Remember this, when it comes to the principle of relationships, remember the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea as an object lesson is great because it receives from the Jordan River, but it never gives. It has an inlet but no outlet. And the only inevitable result of receiving and never giving is death.
Oh, wow.
And that is, do you see it?
Oh. Yeah.
And that exists within the realm of a relationship. If all you do is receive and never give, it becomes inevitable. Again, it speaks to the void that will be created inevitably in your life, because everything created under heaven was created not just to receive, but to give.
But to give.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
It goes both ways because, there are women of two people pouring into the other person, and that where we go into emotional space for a Joseph or a Joshua. Right?
Okay.
Because now is, how does a woman, or what does a woman need to do to enjoy the fruits of her labor in being a helpmate?
It's good.
Because some people don't get to enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Yes, they don't.
I want, because this is a real loaded question. So tell me, as you were writing this question down, and even as you're posing it, like what made you want to pose this question in particular? What were you thinking?
I see a lot of women where, let's say, they might not even know how to go about supporting a type of man like that, right?
Okay.
A type of man who is confident, not arrogant, who actually wants to see you succeed, but he needs to do his thing as well. So he might not always be home, but he does love you.
Yeah.
And like there's a building block, right? So it's like, how do you go about trusting a man like this? Contributing to a man like that, enjoying the fruit of it. How do you go about using your feminine energy and not pushing someone away because of your own insecurities when it comes to things like that?
This is so good. So when it comes to just being support to, you called him a Joshua, what?
Right, a Joshua, a Joseph, like
Joseph,
second in command,
yeah.
a warrior.
Right? Yeah,
you have to do your thing.
Yeah. I think the same answer that I gave for the woman or the man being able to appreciate the woman, it's the same for the woman being able to appreciate the man.
Right.
The same values and virtues have to be shared. Here's the thing. There are a lot of relationships that exist where I respect your values, but I don't share them. And that is a recipe for disaster, because your values can't be your values, and then my values are a completely different set of values, and then we build something together. There has to be, I think, a shared value system, and that has to be communicated.
Right.
This is a huge piece, because the communication of what the relationship looks like rarely takes place, because we have a picture in our heads of what we anticipate, desire, and would love to see, but it's never articulated until there's an issue. And the issue comes because there was an expectation that was never shared.
Right.
And I think that communication, when it comes to what it is that I expect as a man, what my schedule is, what my goals are, what I'm trying to build, what I'm trying to perform, what I'm trying to develop and do. Like, there has to be open communication about that. And when it comes to how the interplay and support can transpire within that relationship, I think the basis of it is communication, but you have to be secure. You have to be secure. As a woman, you have a contribution to be made too. And I think that's, again, I'm going to talk about the man. The man has to be able to pour into your woman and remind her of her ineffable, inexpressible contribution and value. And I think that's a two-way street. So while she appreciates him, he should appreciate her. And in articulating that to one another, you can build together. You don't have to be doing the same thing in order to build a life together, but you have to be working with the same jersey on, if that makes any sense.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah.
Same team.
Same sport.
Same team.
Same team.
Same team. So how early on would you say in a relationship or courtship would you say okay. you know, if you're younger, maybe you're just here to play around and you're not really understanding the whole relationship journey, right?
Sure.
Until you have said to yourself, this is the last time, this is my last frog, I'm not kissing any. If anything, I'm going to pour some salt on any of them that's coming my way. But I am not doing this again.
I ain't doing it again. I got you.
You know, to be quite honest, in my personal experience, because I have a lot of salt, I usually hate. But in my personal experience, right, I feel like as I encounter or in the idea of dating or to be with someone, it's almost like it's we're gonna sit down and have almost like your job, you know, an interview that you truly want. You prepare yourself for it. You study the questions, you get going. So to me, I feel like if I were to enter a relationship, I would want to sit this person down and I just want to know everything about them and what they're looking to do, their journey, you know, where they're seeing themselves. And it's just because I don't have the time to waste anymore. So do you think that it's too early on to have these conversations? And, you know, as you are building with someone, you don't want to drive him crazy or scare him? Or when do you feel it's a good time to even discuss that? Because when you're married, it's already over. So, you know, can't really,
I mean, I hope you discussed it if you're married.
Right.
For sure.
Right. So how early on would you say
how early? I don't think you can be too early when it comes to communication.
Okay.
So remember I said that a healthy relationship has two elements. The first one is two healthy people. Can't be healthy when one of us is healthy and the other one is absolutely unhealthy, not even worried about growth, development, or anything like that. Sorry, it won't work. It can't be one-sided. It has to be both of us moving toward one unified goal. Agreed. But remember, the other element is not just two healthy people. The other element is a well-communicated and defined commitment level. Because based on our commitment to one another, it then informs my choices on how we interact. And I think this is important when it comes to the communication of the commitment level, because certain behavior is appropriate based on the commitment level and certain behavior is inappropriate.
Right.
For instance, how much do I confide in my coworker or my boss? How vulnerable should I be with a friend who's just a friend? How much should I receive in the form of gifts, payment for gas, payment for bills, providing me with a shopping spree? You know, let's talk about it now, because we're gonna throw it out there. What is appropriate? What's okay and what's not okay? Because based on our commitment level, certain behaviors are appropriate. Like, should I be okay with you just paying for everything, or should I be aware that favors can quickly become strings? And that when I'm not interested romantically in you, but I'm letting you, basically behave like you my man.
Right.
But I never really communicate that I'm really not interested. Oh, but I'll take all the gifts.
Right.
We got to be careful, because number one, that's how people get hurt, when there's a lack of communication there. But also, we got to be honest that we got to be careful of not manipulating folk.
That is so true.
And that's very true.
Through muting our mouth. When we know this ain't going nowhere for us, but boy, we like them favors. And let me talk to my men. Because you got to stop. You know, acting like you are the spouse. Why are you paying her phone bill? Why are you taking care of all of these things when there's never been a communication or any determination that this is going anywhere but a friendship? I'm just giving free game now. Like you got to, and I heard this being communicated last night. What did my friend say? Oh, he said, I'm not interested in building a tower and then having to tear it down. He said, we're going to go on a walk and get some ice cream. I'm not taking you to Ruth's Chris first. I mean, we got to work on this.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that the communication is key. When it's how early, I don't think it's early to communicate. What is it that you worry about? I think that's critical.
You know, I think that's one why I'm so grateful and thankful that God inspired Shasha with these podcasts. Because to be quite honest, if you are not taught well, you would think that for us women, this is how we are shown love and the interest, right? And the moment these men are not doing these particular actions, we're taking it as he's not a good provider, nor will he ever be a good provider. And we have so many different stigma behind that man, and it's so sad because to some men they may have all the perfect criteria of a great man. Maybe they haven't reached the level to where they could take you to Ruth Chris, for example. But with what they have, they show you so much of what they would want to do. We disqualify them immediately. Losing you and what is truly all about. And that's important. I say too, she makes it feel that way too. So used, so manipulated that when you meet this person, you're trying to see off rap, yo, what is all that you're gonna do for me? I want to see, if I tell you right now I need my nails done and my feet done, can you take care of that right now, right? And it's almost like you're putting all this on that one person and not even sure, like you said, if this is truly a relationship you want to be in, but you just want to see what it is that he can give. Just to approve it. And I always tell my friends, I said, listen, no man will do things for you without asking for a receipt afterwards.
And the bigger the ticket item, the higher the interest is in cashing in.
And cashing out fast.
It's good. Take me out to dinner, all that good stuff. But I'm telling you, those big ticket items, those favors turn into strings really quickly.
Let me tell you.
We got to be cool women. Let's throw it out there. Because I'll paint a picture. You have Brandon, who is a starving artist, right? And he's doing his thing, creating this art, but he's really not going anywhere with his business. And then Susie, she's a little older than he is, got a little bit more in her bank account than he does. And she's like, okay, let me help you out, Brandon. Let me space you, and I'm going to put up money for your level. And then she starts paying for all these things. It can go both ways. And just Sally, who's a sugar baby, looking for a sugar to take care of her. No, you got to be very careful. For most items, they're going to be asking for something in return.
Right. And I feel like it, and that's where I say it's not a gender war. It's personality disorder. You know, it's not even man versus woman or a woman versus man thing. It's a be careful who you're around type of thing right now, right? Because a friend could do that.
That's right.
A friend of the same sex can do that. You know, a parent can.
A boss can.
Right, a boss can, you know, and that's what is emotional space. Because I feel like once you assume on you want more out of life, now even in the beginning stages of a courtship, you can know where that emotional space is. I can have it for two, so now I'm actively listening to you. I don't need to see it. I want to see it within your own lifestyle, your own words, your own mind. Just within a conversation, someone can tell you who they are.
That's right.
That's true.
Before, like, you're taking a walk with the ice cream, sometimes it's just asking. Right? People don't, sometimes the conversation is all about me.
Yes.
It's all about me. So now it's, what is emotional space?
So it is a very critical, it's art, it's discernment. Like you said, it's about listening and being in that place where you can not just hear the voice of God, but obey it. Because let's just be honest, when it comes to evaluating the environment, we oftentimes just turn the blind eye to stuff we don't think is that deep, especially at the beginning. But can I just talk to somebody and just release you from the bondage of the recrimination of people who think you are crazy? You ain't crazy. Go to their Facebook, look at what they post. Consider their social relationships and how they work, you know, in their work environment. Consider, because here's the deal. Some of us, if we would just open up our eyes, would see the toxicity right there in front of us.
Mercy.
And we've got to learn to do our homework. Be okay. Accepting. Listen.
FBI.
What is she? Look, when they tell you who they are, believe them.
Yes.
Please believe them.
Yes.
But again, you know, hey, he looked good though. You know what I'm saying? she looked good though, and we'll allow the got to be open enough to believe it, and oftentimes being in that emotional space where you're able to hear God's voice, where you're able to, with discerning, you know, scrutiny, consider what is good for you, what's not good for you. Let's just be honest, y'all. Some of the stuff we think is little is really big, especially when you marry someone. Can I talk about those things, please?
Yes,
like
please.
when that person sees that glass is always being half empty and never half full and is absolutely negative, that becomes a big thing over time in a relationship.
Mercy.
When that person can't help but be with sarcastic, curt responses, slicing and dicing with their words, and they do it in the form of just a playful joke, but really they're making other people feel bad just for their own amusement, that becomes big over time. When somebody is controlling,
Yes.
and not just controlling with their words, but physically abusive. When somebody is, and this is so in a lot of in a lot of relationship seminars,
Right.
I see communication as being heralded as like the most central, important aspect of a relationship. And I think that is true in a sense. But for me, I'm learning that what even trumps bad communication skills is empathy. Like if you're not even in a place
Mercy.
to feel what I feel, to care about how I feel,
Wow.
to put yourself in my shoes so that what I'm communicating you can actually receive. That without that compassionate empathy, like you can have the best communication skills in the world. You can give seminars on that stuff. You won't use it because you're narcissistic and selfish.
And you don't even realize it.
And don't even realize it.
Just walk around with a mask.
Yeah,
Mercy.
yeah. So communication's great, but I think communication skills can be sharpened over time. But when empathy is lacking, you can go to every seminar you want, you can read every relational book you want, but without empathy, man, there's no hope for a relationship. And I'm finding oftentimes that is where most people are when they're struggling in their relationship. They're with someone who lacks empathy. And they should have seen it from the beginning because they were never really about you.
Mercy.
The pursuit of you really was just
fun.
Oh, it was enjoyable for them.
Right.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
it was to scratch an itch that they had to conquer.
And once they did,
And once they did, I mean, again, you now were someone who they can put on their trophy.
their wall.
Yeah. Because it really was never about you. And you can sense that. Think about this. When you have a conversation with them, are they always butting in to give their thoughts and opinions? Or do they honestly sit, listen, and then respond to you say?
Mercy.
and you know what? Let me say this.
Yes.
I have met someone just like that where they're listening, and I'm like, "Are you listening?" Yes, but you're not done yet. And it's so abnormal
It's not normal, right?
that you're,
Right.
it's like, wait, you're paying attention. It's like, but you're not done. You were still speaking. Finish what you were saying so I can now respond. And it's so unusual. It's so
Right.
rare
Yeah.
that you look at it as, no. Interrupt me so I know you're listening. That's a problem.
Right.
Can you imagine that?
Right. So it sounds like you're not listening when you are, because I'm anticipating you to interrupt me, and because you're not interrupting me, you must not be listening to me.
Correct.
Oh,
Mercy.
so that's
Yo, like,
interesting.
I can be as honest to myself on picking up for so long. You felt who it is, you're like, but like it matter too. You can try to be selfish.
Right.
You just been silent.
Mm.
And so now like you're it's like you really tend to just self-reflect. And that's what detox is all about, right?
That's what it's all about.
It's down to the nitty-gritty.
Yes.
And one thing they said about empathy, it goes into the nonverbal communication.
Come on.
I think we always talk about the verbal, just like you said. We never talk about the nonverbal. We never get to that part.
Right.
And I don't think people know what nonverbal communication is either. So I would love for you to break that down, Dr.
Sure.
Doggette.
Yeah. So most of our communication is nonverbal. That's close to 90% of our communication is nonverbal, and that has to do with eye contact. That has to do with a nod that indicates that I'm actually engaged in our conversation. Because a lot of people are screaming, "I don't care what you have to say," without saying it, because they are in a nonverbal way completely checked out of the conversation. So examples I think are absolutely critical, and to be able to pick up on them is critical too, which is also why I don't suggest people date folk without ever being in their space. Because people, I mean, this is the season where there's catfishing going on all over the place.
Yes.
And you fall for folk who you never really been around.
Ooh.
And the truth is, I can say a whole lot to you over the phone, but those nonverbals are critically important, because I could be lying to you and you can't pick it up because I'm not around you. I'm not in your space. So I think that that's also a critical point to be made, that, yeah, it's important that you consider those nonverbal cues that are inevitably there. You can't avoid those nonverbals.
Mercy.
I think I like what you said about being in someone's space. Because and the entire time they're pulling on this show to maybe please others, friends, families. But when they're back into their own comfortable space, you get to see their true self.
Yeah.
In a way, they're still trying, but the family not knowing or friends not knowing, they're acting the way they would act among themselves if you were not around. But now because you've reached their territory, you get to see who they are. And what I like about it is you get to see people's interaction towards them.
Yeah.
Their body language towards them. Because I feel like in the way that they respond, the welcoming, if they're trustworthy, then you get to see, okay, this person is possibly a great person to be around, because everyone seems to feel the same way. It's not just when they come around my home or my church or my job that they're enjoyable, but when I go into their space, I see the respect they have for their mothers, their fathers, right? If they have children, their children, friends, aunts, and whatever it may be. I think that is such a big thing, to maybe enter someone's space, go into their area, just to even observe their way of behaving, so that you have a clearer vision of who they are as well.
Right, but don't you think sometimes that's a little bit scary? Because I know some people.
Come on, talk about it.
That will bring you to their family, and their family knows what's up.
That's so true.
Ooh.
Their family is on to it, like, oh, another one. Let's just smile at her, you guys. Hi.
Oh, my
So now
goodness.
you think that you're being introduced.
You're being trapped.
And you're being trapped. And
Wow.
the family knows what's up. It's just trapped right now. So now everyone's looking like, too bad for her.
Yeah.
Like she's just or like he's just
All of us who've lived through life
mercy
and actually can see things that you might not be able to see because of your own trauma that has created blind spots. By the way, literally 80%.
You're speaking so much right
Listen,
now.
80,
You just don't even know it.
I love this. This is why we're conversing. 80% or 800,000 blind spot accidents happen every year here in America. And the idea here is that no matter what brand you got, you can get a BMW, a Lamborghini, you can get a Ford, you can get in whatever. Every car has blind spots.
Yeah.
And all of us have they don't see everything. And what if that person who God has placed within your circle of influence, the mother, the friend, the individual who has your best interest at heart, they're privy to information that you're not privy to because of your blind spot. That's why I think also being connected to people who you trust is critically important. And and again, in order for them to give you any information about it, that's why you don't date people in exclusively, but you got to bring them around folk who you trust. I know. You wanted to just...
Now,